Yeah, thank you very much, Jules. It's emptied out here. It's a lot quieter than what it was when we were playing out there because it was loud tonight, Bruno. But 3-0 away from home. When you thought about this game tonight, was that scoreline sort of ever on the radar?
No, you can never predict a scoreline like that. Obviously, a very tough team. As you said, the atmosphere was unbelievable, crazy. Never thought. I knew that they were very passionate by the club and everything, but never thought it was like this. It was very good, but I love these atmospheres. I love to play in these kind of stadiums. It's very good. And obviously, as you said, the result for us is unbelievable. We could, in the first half, get that result, and then in the second half, control the game, which I think we should push a little bit more into that second half, be a little bit quick on the ball to go forward, but we control the game, and that is good.
Your manager said to Becky earlier in the interview that he felt in the first 20 minutes a few nerves in the team. You as the leader and captain in this team, do you take responsibility in those moments, and how do you kind of calm the nerves of your teammates?
No, I do think we were expecting that. You know, we knew that. We've been saying that all week, that the 3-4 days that we had to prepare the game, we said that, and even before the game, guys, the atmosphere is going to be bouncing. The guys are going to come to press us. They're going to try in the first 15-20 minutes. We just have to try to play on the ball to calm them down. When the ball goes out, we go a little bit slow, just like make the game a little bit slower for us in the first 15 minutes, and then it will come to us. Obviously, then we get the goal, we get the penalty, red card, and from there on we could score the third goal so quick. Then for us was brilliant to then just stay on the ball, and knew that they won't press as much as we preferred, because I think if they press we could play through them. And as I said, we were a little bit slow on the ball, just like waiting for them to step up, but they wanted to keep this result like this to try to come back in the next game, and we need to be very aware of that.
Bruno, you've got ice in your veins. You are the calmest man under pressure in any moment, it would seem. I know Ree's done the maths on this one more than me, haven't you, with the number of sort of goals and involvements that Bruno has.
37, I think. I know you must know. 37 goal involvements this season. Like, it's crazy. You're on the route to like 20 and 20 almost. 19.
I knew I was
goals.
Around the 30s. I didn't know exactly how many it was, but obviously I want to score, I want to assist, because it's a big part of my game, and I need to take that responsibility, because I know since I came to the club, and even before, the club bought me because I scored 32 goals in one season. They knew that I could create, I could score, and I just need to keep delivering, because if you want to be at the highest level, you need to be consistently delivering.
Not everyone has the broad shoulders to take that responsibility on. Is that something you've always had as a kid growing up, or is that something you've developed and grown into here at Man United? I know you scored goals when you were at Sporting, but as a leader?
No, obviously you need to grow, you need to understand where you are, the place you play for, the club you play for, and everything gets bigger. Obviously Sporting is a massive club, but United is a global club, you know, like you said, it's unbelievable the attention we get, the pressure we get and everything, but it's football. It's what we love to do. To be honest, obviously I feel the pressure, even every penalty.
I'm jealous.
I feel the pressure, and I think that's the good thing of football, and I think is what we have to enjoy, because when I finish my career, that pressure will go away, and I will be much more relaxed. And this is what I say to every time the manager and the physio, like, I need to relax, you need to rest. I say, like, no, when I die I will have a lot of time to lay down and rest myself.
How much banter is there in the dressing room right now towards Harry Maguire being on the right wing there?
No.
Harry-dinho is what he's currently being called all over social media.
Crazy.
I said that straight away. What a winger! I don't think he even thought that he had that in his locker. No one was expecting that. I think even the opposition was not expecting that to come. Obviously, we're very happy. Harry is a much more confident man now. You know, like things are coming through, and when he's playing, when you get the games, he's also getting goals. He's defending very well. His position is becoming more and more strong. He's a very good leader. So it's a good thing for him, and we hope it just keeps improving, because at this club you need to keep improving all the time. You can't just stop.
So we'll be seeing you here in a few weeks, yeah?
I hope so. That's the
Finish
goal.
the job.
That's the goal, and that's what I said. We want our fans to travel twice to Bilbao, and ourselves too.
Good.
All right.
Look forward to it.
People are shouting in the stands here, aren't they? The ones that are still here. But Bruno, we're going to let you go. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Ruben Amorim there. Look, he's being cautious, saying that, you know, anything in football can happen. The same thing that happened tonight can happen next week at Old Trafford, but the other way round. But surely, Paul, barring some kind of disaster next week, Manchester United will be back there in 3 weeks' time for the final.
Look, yeah, they should be, and you'd be very confident of that happening. I think he spoke well there. He said he was really happy with the result, but he understands the result as well. You know, they had a couple of great chances at 0-0. The sending off obviously was a big factor in the game, but going to a place like Bilbao, we all said before the game how tough that place is to go. And they struggled the first 20 minutes. It was difficult for them. We said Ugarte gave the ball away a couple of times. Dorgu the same as well. But you just think at 3-0, it should be over. But it's United these days. We don't really know what we're going to get. And they have been beaten at home 3-0 by a couple of teams this year, I think. So, look, you always go into it saying it's not over, but really, us from here watching, it should be over, and I think it is.
How sure is that result for you, Karen?
I just want them to get through the first 20 minutes next week. Once they get through that, then I'll be happy. Because, like you said, Paul, the first 20 minutes of today's game, they have some quality. But I thought the experience, it was a classy performance from Manchester United today. But you have to have the manager's mentality of it is only half time, because if you go in there a bit too arrogant, a bit too cocky at times, you can get found out. And these are the early chances that they'll have to be mindful of. But fingers crossed in front of Old Trafford, fingers crossed some players are rested. You'd think they can ride this storm again like they have done today, but there's certainly threats.
Yeah, look, these are two great chances. You'd expect Williams to score there, and even the second one as well. I'm not sure what Euros do. Euros has to get out much quicker to Williams, and the lad should probably score here again. I know people may give Lindelof a little bit of credit for clearing off the line, but he does go straight to him. He's got a big area to aim at, and it should have been two. But look at Old Trafford. We saw what we saw 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? So you'd expect them to have enough to handle that first 20 minutes, as Karen said.
You guys are being cautious-ish. Here's a line of confidence for any Manchester United fans that just need a little bit more. 133 teams have scored 3 or more goals in the first leg of a game, and all 133 have gone on to qualify. That'll do.
It's done.
Let's go back over the Manchester United goals then, because they all came in the first half. Man United weathered the storm, but then Casemiro with this opener. And we heard from Harry Maguire there, Harry Dino, playing on the right wing in the build-up to this, Paul.
Yeah, bit of quick feet out on the sides, another position it looks like he can play. But as the manager said, everything seems to be working for him. He had a really tough spell some time ago, and committing bodies forward, it's not something we've seen an awful lot. It's the Europa League for some reason. The shackles seems to come off, and as I say, there's 2 centre-halves in the box. I think it's Euro Lindelof, there's 2 holding midfield players in the box. One of them comes off Ugarte, and then Casemiro finishes it off. And Casemiro over the both legs, in the Europa League, especially the last couple of games, has been a real... He's got his form back. He's been a threat at either end of the pitch, at the right end of the pitch. Yeah. And he's doing his job in midfield as well. I still think he was a little bit sloppy at times at the second half. When you've got that experience, you should not be giving Bilbao a kick of the ball, but no, he's been good and got that goal.
I'm not sure about Scott Saunders' comment. There a bit of sarcasm there, but amazing performance again from Harry Maguire and just delivering. And we heard high praise from Ruben Amorim for him as well. The character he's had to show to come back from really difficult moments in a United shirt to be the player he is now.
Yeah, I mean, his journey's not been easy. And he's just got on with it. And you have to give him massive credit for that. Last week, you mentioned it, up there centre forward, getting the goal not last week, but 2 weeks ago against Lyon, getting them through. And then tonight, stepping up with the goods and leadership. And okay, he went off a little bit earlier, but that's good from the manager, manage him. So I'm thrilled, because you want players that had to show and come through and shine, and he has. And like the manager said, he's got to enjoy this moment.
Ruben Amorim said the sending off changed the game. That's fairly obvious. The penalty incident as well. Do you think both of these ultimately ended in the right decisions, Paul?
Yeah, I think so. There was a slight chance of handball from Garnacho that they obviously got cleared as well. But yeah, look, it's a definite penalty. I think he does. There is enough contact from him. And once you give the foul, obviously it's a penalty, and it's a red card. I think we're seeing Harry Maguire at this point now. So if it's a foul, it's a red card, and it is. And look, that was game over from then. Obviously got the third goal after that as well from a brilliant Bruno Fernandes finish, who has been stepped up, delivered with the goods again. And look, it's 3-0 away from home at Bilbao. What a result! You have to enjoy that sometimes. And like I say, you've got to say all the right things. We think it's we've got to be careful, but I didn't really see loads from Bilbao. Anyway, they had them 2 chances, but I didn't see a lot from them with 11 men that was overly worrying for me.
2-0 would have been a good away result, but the third goal from Bruno Fernandes, again, just before the half-time whistle, and really good work from Agate in the build-up as well, Karen.
Yeah, and Casemiro's play that pass through to break through the lines. Okay, I mentioned it earlier, you get your little bit of luck when you win your 50-50 battles, but as soon as it goes through to Bruno, we already know it's in the back of the net before he's hit it because of the form he's in, but nice little flick round the corner, as you mentioned, from Agate. Good strength from Højlund to win that 50-50, nice little flick, and that's it, done and dusted, bang. And you mentioned about the penalty decision. I was so surprised at how much Athletic lost their heads in today's game, and Man United recognised it, turned the screw and took momentum and took advantage on that. And it's a brilliant performance, brilliant result, and you couldn't ask for any more, Jules. 2
goals in 7 minutes there from Bruno Fernandes in that first half. And when they came into the second half, Paul, was it just about controlling it, seeing it out at that point? Would you have liked to see them maybe get another goal?
I think if they'd kept the ball better, I think another goal would have come eventually. Athletic Bilbao would have just been tired, would have had nowhere to go. But 3-0, look, it didn't matter at half-time. The one thing they didn't want was concede a goal, and that never looked like it was going to happen. So I think keep the ball out there, don't give them a sniff of it. 3-0 should be enough. Come on, 4 and 5, great, perfect, yeah, you're still going to go through, but 3-0 away from home. Just keep the ball away from them. Don't give them a sniff, don't give them a kick of the football.
Certainly better than I think most Manchester United fans were hoping for before the game started.
Brilliant performance, a fantastic result. For you, what was the difference today in how well you played and how you achieved everything that you set out to do?
Well, I think first and foremost we was more clinical. In recent games we haven't been clinical enough, we haven't defended our box well enough, and we've not been clinical at the other end. So goals change games and goals win football matches, and today they started really well. The intensity of the stadium was unbelievable. The fans was brilliant for them, and they started really well and they put us under a lot of pressure, but we defended our box well, and that's what you've got to do at times. And when them moments come that are difficult and you're under pressure, you've got to remain in the game and you've got to keep the game at 0-0. And there's been far too many times this year where we'd end up going 1-0 behind and then the game's difficult. So that's first and foremost. We defended our box well at that difficult moment, and then we always have quality that we can go up and score our goals. And I think in those last 15-20 minutes of the first half we was really clinical, really ruthless, and that's the way we've got to be if we want to be a successful team.
To put it into context, they'd won every single one of their home games in the Europa League so far, which just goes to show how good a result it is. But there's still a second leg to play, and how mindful are you that the tie is not finished yet?
No, of course, we know it's not finished. They're a good team. Obviously they went down to 10 men early today, so that helped us get the result, no doubt about it. So no, they're a good team, but we're going to Old Trafford, and Old Trafford is an amazing place, and it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Like they probably think tonight was an amazing atmosphere, I'm sure on next Thursday will be as well. So no, we're looking forward to the game. We know it's not done. We're going to prepare as well as we can, and prepare like we've done for today. And we're going to go there full of confidence. But yeah, of course, the tie isn't over. It's going to be a big game next Thursday.
And as for the goals, I mean, the first goal set up by you with some brilliant play on the right wing, and then Casemiro, who we probably think was possibly the man of the match. He was brilliant tonight. But just how much joy did that give you, being able to set up your teammate like that?
No, obviously it was an amazing feeling just to get that first goal. I think it was such an important goal in the game. Yeah, I think Casemiro was brilliant tonight. He's definitely, I believe, was the man of the match. He was everywhere, scored a crucial goal as well. I think the header was a lot more difficult than he made it look, with spin on the ball from Manu's header, great controlled finish. And yeah, obviously found myself on the right wing. It was a strange position to find myself on, but dribbling has always been one of my attributes, especially 5-6 years ago when I was a little bit younger and I used to bomb up and down the pitch a little bit more. But now bringing the ball out from the back has always been something that I've had in my game, and it's something that I'm used to doing a lot more in training than being on the right wing in games. But no, it's an attribute of mine, and I'm glad it paid off tonight. And no, Cassie put the ball in the back of the net, and it was an important goal for sure.
And just finally now, you rest, recover and prepare for a big game at Brentford, another game you'll want to show your very best in.
Yeah, of course. When you play for this club every game, there's millions of people watching, and we have amazing fans who demand performances. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes on Sunday, but our fans will understand that, and they'll get right behind whoever plays. So, no, it's an important game, and like I said, playing for this club demands winning football matches. So we'll be going to Brentford with an eye to win.
Recover well. We'll see you back.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Semi-final with Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, what did you make of the defeat? It was at home, which was disappointing, but what went wrong?
I just think the players were nervous. It was a big football match. You know, it's a semi-final of the Champions League. These players haven't been in a semi-final before. They're not seasoned pros in it. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you earn, you're going to get nervous. You know, people get nervous, and I just thought they were nervous, and I thought PSG come out, got that early goal, and they had them on the rack, and I just thought it was like Arsenal was sort of scared. Like, I just thought they thought if we let in another goal here, we're out the cup tie already. We're literally out the cup tie. And I know that didn't happen with Inter Milan. They went 2-0 up against Barcelona. Barcelona play a different way to Arsenal. They got back into the game steadily, but they'll be disappointed. You know, certain games you get in your life and you think, oh, I could have probably done more in that game. And I think there's a lot of players that would have sat in the dressing room after that game or gone home and gone to bed and laid in bed and thought, didn't really turn up. Didn't turn up. And that happens. It happens. You just hope it doesn't happen on the big stage in the big games. And it did. It did on Tuesday night.
How much do you think they missed Thomas Partey?
Oh, amazingly. Yeah, unbelievably. Yeah. It stopped Declan Rice bombing forward. Declan's playing as well as anybody at the moment. He's bombing forward. He's making runs, getting into the box. One of their only chances they did have, the Trossard chance, that was from Declan Rice making a bursting run. And we didn't get as many of them because of the position he had to play. But yeah, Partey when he comes back, Odegaard will have to turn up. I'm a big fan of Odegaard, but he didn't perform the other night. But they've got another chance. They should have been completely blown out of this competition the other night. They had chances, PSG. I think it's down to the first goal. I think if Arsenal score first goal, that wipes out Tuesday's performance and it's game on. I think it's Paris Saint-Germain score first. I can't see any way back. And I know people will say, well, Villa went 4-1 down, but Villa are at home. They had nothing to lose. They had a right go, scored 2 goals in 3 minutes, and they got back in the game. And people will say, oh, Arsenal won at the Bernabeu. Arsenal won on the last kick of the game. Martinelli's running away from the defender with a minute to go. If it's 1-1 in the Parc des Princes, they're not going to be playing gung-ho football, PSG. So, there's a lot of things to look at. I think Arsenal are right up against it, but with Partey back, you never know.
Let's talk about the atmosphere, because all week we've been building up to the game. We were hearing from Mikel Arteta, calling for this special atmosphere. Bring your boots, bring your full kits, everyone. Wayne Rooney described it as an anti-climax. What did you make of it?
Yeah, the first goal, it was the first goal after 4 minutes. You get there and they'll sing North London forever, the atmosphere is great, and then all of a sudden Paris Saint-Germain scoring it. And of course it deflates you, it deflated the players. And it did the fans. The fans would have been nervous. They're turning up, it's a semi-final, you've got an unbelievable opportunity of winning the Champions League, they've never done. And I just think it caught up with everybody, and I think that goal in the first 4 minutes was critical, and I think the fans got as nervous as what the players did, and I think it was as simple as that. It was just one of them situations where that goal literally killed the game for me for the first 20 minutes, and Arsenal got nervous. They started playing around. They looked like the Harlem Globetrotters, PSG, and that was the way it was, and that's the way it sort of panned out. Arsenal had a couple of chances. I thought they'd done well to get back in the game. Didn't need half time. But they lose 1-0, and it could have probably been 3. And they're back in it again now. They've got a chance. But, I don't give them too much of a chance, if I'm being honest.
Arteta said himself that they're going to need something pretty special in Paris next week. What do they need? How do they try and hurt this team and turn it around? What chance do you give them? You said they're not much, but got to give them some hope.
Oh, of course, they've got a chance. They're a good team, Arsenal. They don't become a bad team overnight. You know, I see PSG destroy Liverpool, but still lost the game. Still lost that game. People forget that, you know, for how well they played, Liverpool won that football match. They don't have to, because they've only lost 1-0, they don't have to go and score that goal in the first 10 minutes. I think as long as they can get through the first 20 minutes and keep it quiet in the Parc des Princes, because it will be an unbelievable atmosphere. And insteadly, they don't have to score straight away. And I think that's what they've got to do. They've got to be patient, play themselves in the game, make sure they stay in this game as long as they can. And then the last 25 minutes, have a right go and have a gung-ho go at them, open the game up and see what happens. Because don't worry, PSG, the longer this game goes on at 1-0, will get very nervous. You know, they got an unbelievable opportunity of winning the Champions League where, with the players they used to have and the talent, we never really thought they could win it. And now they will get nervous. So I think Arsenal have to stay in the game. I think the first 20 minutes again is very, very important. I think if Arsenal can get in at 0-0 first half, you never know.
In the playoffs, Bristol City are in the box seat, but it's only a point clear of Coventry. Coventry take on your old side Borough as well. If you're going to pick the final two teams to join Sheffield United and Sunderland, who would you be going for?
You know what, so I've sat on this show a lot of end of seasons and you think, oh, this will just happen and that'll be the end of it and they'll sail through. There'll be drama. 100% there'll be drama. Whatever happens, I still think Middlesbrough got a chance. I think Middlesbrough.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think Middlesbrough playing away from the Riverside will help them immensely. Coventry will be in a stick or won't know whether to stick or twist. And I think Middlesbrough will go out with that no fear. The only way I can see Millwall getting in is if Leeds go 2-0 up in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it sort of goes like that. And then, but they still might want to get 100 points. And in Sheffield United, you know, you don't really want to be, I don't want to use the word, but you don't want to really be mugging games off now. You know what I mean? You need to be fine-tuning and getting ready for the playoffs. So I think Middlesbrough win this game. I'd be shocked if they didn't go up.
And the thing is, Clinton, you look at the games, you look at Bristol City's game at home to Preston, there's something riding on it for Preston as well. They're fighting for their lives to make absolutely sure they're in the Championship next season. And then you look at Coventry Middlesbrough, something on it for both teams as well. Millwall, huge amount on it for them, but for Burnley, yes, they want to win the Championship as well, but even if Leeds do the business of Plymouth, there's another record to chase down in terms of clean sheets in a season. Everywhere you look in terms of the playoff picture, there's something riding on those games, isn't it, for both sides?
Yeah, that's why it's so exciting, and yeah, it's going to be, you could tell Mercy used to play for Middlesbrough, right? But at the end of the day, there is lots of twists and turns, and he has been on it for many years and seen a lot of things happen, and we could say now that could end up being the top six, but you just never know. You know, it's a big game with Bristol City against Preston, because if the results go, and I know we're going to talk about at the bottom half of the table, then it means that Bristol City, Preston might end up getting relegated, so they'll need to get something out of the game. It's going to go down right to the wire. I still think Coventry might have too much from Middlesbrough at home. I do think they've not been on good form, but something in me says Coventry might be too strong. But as Frank Lampard said, he's going to hear noises from the crowd. It could be Millwall get an early go. Listen, this will go right down to the wire, and I'm looking forward to it.
And if you're looking at form, Sue, Body, stay out of it. I'm come to you. So if you're going on form, look at the last four games. It's Blackburn who are in the best form at the moment, 4 on the spin. What do you expect from Sheffield United today? Because Chris Wilder's been talking very positively about the atmosphere in the camp, even though they missed out on automatic promotion. They're getting ready for the playoffs. What can we expect from that game today?
Again, it's a difficult one to predict, isn't it? Because you think for Chris Wilder, he'll probably want to make sure that his players are fit and available. So do you rest and rotate, or do you play them so that they've got that momentum going into the playoffs? So it's a tough sort of balancing act there. But like you say, Blackburn in a great run of form. You know, a month ago it didn't look like they'd be anywhere near it.
No.
And the fact that, you know, that they've really
Ismail was struggling at the start, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they've got players back fit and they've built their way through. So you just couldn't call it. I've got the Coventry Middlesbrough game today, and I've got
the big one, haven't you?
Well, I'm thinking similar to Clinton. I think Coventry will do it. I don't know why. Again, I think you just predict, don't you, from whatever that what Frank Lampard did when he came in to take them through to, you know, from relegation threatened to playoffs, I just think is tremendous. Yes, they've dropped off, but maybe they'll just have a little bit too much. But yeah, you could probably say an argument for any of those teams.
game on in the background, on and off. I was on a phone call. I could hear my friend listening to the match down their end and shouting through the phone. It was like running in and out of the front room. It was so entertaining to watch, wasn't it? Goodness me.
It was an incredible game, wasn't it? Absolutely incredible. Some amazing goals, so much quality on show as well. And of course, it started inside the first minute, didn't it, with that early goal from Marcus Thuram, really setting the tone for what followed. And it was a record-breaking goal as well. Only 30 seconds for Marcus Thuram to open the scoring. That was the fastest goal ever scored in the Champions League semi-final. The previous fastest was Kevin De Bruyne a couple of seasons ago. That was 1 minute 34 seconds, so it beat the record by quite a distance there. We then saw Barcelona come back, of course. They fought back, and it was a 6-goal thriller, and that itself made it the joint highest scoring draw in a Champions League semi-final, alongside a 3-3 draw between Dynamo Kiev and Bayern Munich back in 98-99. So a really amazing spectacle all round, really, and of course a star performer in Lamine Yamal as well.
I mean, goodness me, where does he rank, do we feel? He's 17 years old. Goodness knows where he's going to end up, what sort of records that he's going to break, which he did, of course, in that first minute already, didn't he?
Well, he's been incredible this season. It was a fantastic, just a fantastic performance from him, wasn't it? Again, I mean, it's amazing to think he's doing all this still 2 months shy of his 18th birthday. It's just ridiculous, really. So these stats here really highlight just how effective he was in this game. Of course, an amazing goal for Barcelona's first goal, the goal that really sparked the comeback. That was from one of 6 shots, which was the most in the game. He completed 6 dribbles as well. Again, that was a high in the game. He created chances, he won his duels. And I think what's really interesting is just how many touches he had. 104 touches in the game. That's the kind of number you would expect from a central midfielder, more than a wide player. And 17 touches in the opposition box. Again, that was the highest in the game. Incredibly high number. Simone Inzaghi, the Inter boss, talked about doubling up on him not being enough. But another big problem was that they just couldn't stop the ball from getting to him. Barcelona were really good at getting the ball to him. And we can see his touches in this touch map here, and it just shows you, almost all of them came in this area here, where he is most effective, picking the ball up on the right, cutting inside onto his left foot, as he did for the goal, and doing so much damage on that right-hand side of the box. 17 touches in there, a quite incredible number. And of course, he ended up with a decisive contribution, an incredible performance from him, and on his 100th appearance for Barcelona as well, which is incredible at his age. Only 17 years and 291 days old. So he's the youngest Barcelona player ever to reach 100 appearances. So yeah, a historic night for him, another one, and just a reminder of the incredible potential he has.
He does, and you just wonder where he's going to go on, what records he's going to break, a debate if he is the best player in the world at the moment at just 17. It's fair to say he's definitely going to be at some point.
Well, he's well on track, isn't he? I mean, it's just incredible to think of where he is now compared to previous superstars at this age, and that's what we see in this graphic here. So we have Ronaldo and Messi at 17, and you can see that Ronaldo was on 19 appearances. He was playing for Sporting in Portugal at the time, 5 goals, 4 assists for him. Messi had actually only made 9 appearances at this point, only 1 goal for him. You then compare that to Yamal, 100 appearances, 22 goals there, 33 assists. So yeah, incredible numbers from him, and he looks well on course to that kind of status, doesn't he? He does look like an amazing talent.
He does. He has another amazing talent on the opposite wing, doesn't he, in the form of Rafinha? Just how good is his form?
Yeah, he's been huge for Barcelona this season, hasn't he? Coming from Leeds, of course, and struggling initially at Barcelona, but just making a fantastic impact this season. And you can see now his numbers for goals and assists. He's up to 20 combined this season, which is the second most in a Champions League campaign. The highest was Cristiano Ronaldo in the 2013-14 campaign with 21. So you wouldn't bet against Rafinha actually equaling or surpassing that. He got an assist last night. He also had the shot, of course, which led to the 3rd goal, bouncing in off off the goalkeeper. So a really fantastic season, just gets better for Rafinha. So Yamal not the only one making a big impact in that attack.
As for Inter, different game to what many people thought. It was definitely much more open, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, they looked a lot more defensively vulnerable than they have in previous games, didn't they? So 3 goals conceded last night compared to their previous 12 games in the Champions League, which is only 5. So they had been defensively so strong in their previous games. In this game, as you say, it was a lot more open. They were toing and froing, weren't they, the two sides, both going on the attack, both leaving space in behind, but it made for a fantastic game, and fingers crossed for more of the same in the second leg.
Absolutely. They had right wing back Denzel Dumfries to thank as well for all 3 of their goals. I mean, this is a man who has been one of the most prolific defenders in recent years, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, he got the assist for the opening goal and scored a couple himself. He's up to 10 goals in all competitions this season, which, as you can see, makes him the highest scoring defender in Europe in all competitions by some margin as well. No other defender has scored more than 6. You can see, obviously, some familiar names in here. Hakimi of PSG, Cucurella of Chelsea there, Daniel Munoz, of course, of Crystal Palace, Fabian Schär and Josko Guardiola up there as well. But that man, Dumfries, right at the top of the pile. An incredible offensive weapon for Inter in that wing-back position.
It's such an incredibly poised tie. I cannot wait. Will Inter fancy their chances of getting a result in the San Siro, or do you think it will be Barca reaching the final in Munich?
I mean, I think Inter have a good chance now. They are strong at the San Siro. They haven't been beaten there in Europe this season. They've won all their home games except for the one against Bayern Munich, which they drew 2-2 in the last round, but of course still progressed. But I think they'll fancy it. Of course, what Barcelona have is this incredible attack, so they're always capable of scoring goals with Yamal on one side, Rafinha on the other. Maybe they'll have Lewandowski back as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Inter at home, I do think they will be strong, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them advance from the tie.
OK. Yeah, we wonder if Arsenal fans afford themselves a possibility to think who they'd prefer to face in the final if they can overturn that 1-0 deficit in Paris.
Yeah,
goodness me.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think they have enough on their hands already, don't they, with trying to come through that second leg, having lost the first one. But I think both of those teams we saw last night, just so much quality. Both would be really difficult games if they can get through that second leg against PSG.
Absolutely.
Across all of the back pages, Arsenal beaten by a goal to 0 by PSG at the Emirates in the first leg of their Champions League semi-final. We'll start by taking a look at the back page of The Guardian. Advantage PSG, Dembele strike leaves Arsenal with work to do. Riath, what was it that Arsenal didn't quite get right on the night?
Look, I think you can probably go into a number of areas. The first one I'd start with is, were they a little bit overhyped? Not overhyped, were they a little bit hyperactive is what I mean. I think when we're talking about this occasion, I know Arteta's made a very sort of eloquent play on it in the build-up to it, in this sort of sense of occasion. The way Arsenal started that game, they were flying into it. I thought Timber was a little bit fortunate not actually to get an early booking. Certainly the goal after 3 minutes, I thought there was a little bit of, maybe chaos is too strong a word, but I don't think Declan Rice or Marino are going to look sort of back on the footage terribly fondly on the goal. Look, we shouldn't forget, obviously PSG are a absolutely fabulous side. You go through that entire team, and it's hard to pick a fault. And you know, it's necessary in these moments. We tend to be reactive to the result. We shouldn't forget Arsenal did have chances. If Donnarumma wasn't sort of quite so excellent tonight, maybe you were talking about an entirely different result, and Arsenal taking advantage, or at least being even going into the second leg. But no, I thought watching that this evening, I thought they looked very. I thought they were a little bit energetic at the start. Should we use that as a criticism? I thought it was an occasion that probably called for a little bit more composure than we saw. But again, you have to contextualise it. PSG, they're so quick. What is the correct way to play them? If you sit back against players who are that talented, that fluid, that fast, that sure in the touch, you're inviting problems for yourself. You then step out and you're playing against a team which has got speed in every single area of the pitch. I was incredibly impressed by PSG, more than critical of Arsenal this evening.
Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit more about Arsenal's chances, the performance of Donnarumma shortly, but I do want to just pick up on your point there, Riath, with Henry around the build-up to this game. Obviously, Mikel Arteta has made a point of really speaking to supporters, saying make it happen. There's been a terrific campaign from the club itself targeting social media users, really asking Arsenal supporters to get behind the club. Did it end up getting through to the players maybe a little bit too much and building up this occasion too much? Is it even possible to do that for a Champions League semi-final? And did the crowd respond? And how did you view how the crowd reacted once the PSG goal went in?
Well, the crowd were clearly very good. From absolutely you're right. The atmosphere was built up. I mean, it's a Champions League semi-final. Arsenal are sort of fed up with the taunts from rival fans. Whether it's Chelsea fans or the sort of teams in the Midlands or in the Northwest who've won this great competition, and they want to, the fans want to have that as well. So, you look at this picture of Trossard here. I mean, shock and awe. And I think there was definitely an element of awe, but how much of a bigger shock it was. We know how good PSG are. We know that midfield. How good is that? Vitinha, João Neves and Fabian Ruiz. And that front, that front three as well. I mean, they are an outstanding team. So I don't think there was so much shock in terms of the quality that PSG played. But to come back to your point, were Arsenal overhyped? I mean, look, these are elite-focused sportsmen who kind of inhabit a bubble in the lead up to matches. So I don't quite know. They'll have looked at social media briefly. They'll have understood the sort of the passion of, arising from the fans, and quite rightly so. But I think if you've seen PSG play in the flesh, the real noise, the main noise, often comes from the PSG fans, and you could see that. I think there were a couple of pictures that you put up early, and you could see in the background the PSG ultras, who are quite a lively bunch with a sort of slightly nasty sort of tweak to some of them. Yeah, look at that, the back page of the Mirror. That's kind of sums it up, that passion there. The flares, the total noise, the total support for the team. So I agree, maybe there was an element of, the fans playing a part. But I just think with Arsenal, they didn't have an out ball. The ball kept on coming back. They haven't got a number 9 up there. Mourinho was obviously having to play deeper. And there's a lot of people. It was a very good piece in the Telegraph yesterday by Sam Dean, who was just making the point that Thomas Partey, who foolishly got suspended in the Real Madrid game and was ineligible for this game, they missed him so much. And you could see it, as Riath was saying, they were cut through that midfield in the first 3-4 minutes with Dembele and Kvaradona, as they called him in Napoli, Kvaratskhelia. And they just sort of cut through them. And Thomas Partey would have been in that position in front of the back four. So, it's not a complete shock, but maybe we should be a little bit in awe of this fantastic, fluid, attractive PSG team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the players that were missing then, Riath, for Arsenal. We mentioned Thomas Partey there. What did you make of Declan Rice in that deeper position? And did really, when you talk about Arsenal's squad depth, when they had Ethan Nwaneri and Raheem Sterling as the only really senior attacking options on the bench, did Arsenal's squad depth really show up this evening?
I think going to Henry's point there, I think the sort of Thomas Partey, I think, was absolutely key, and obviously incredibly unnecessary as well. When you review the yellow card he got against Real Madrid, but I thought Declan Rice generally played very well after the goal. It's difficult to sort of draw a line at that point in the game. It was the defining moment of the match. But I think with Rice, there's a couple of things I would like. He's obviously had to play. He's obviously had to take a deeper position. I think when he plays further forward, it brings Odegaard more into the game. I think they've got a superb sort of proper synergy there between them. I thought Odegaard didn't really turn up tonight. I thought that cost them as much as anything. And then going to Henry's other point as well about that lack of an outball, clearly it's been a problem for them throughout the season with the injuries to Havertz, but it's one they've brought on themselves through their recruitment strategy, or rather their inability to provide any cover. So I think that was the key. I think that would have been the key issue more so than anything else that they lacked on the pitch. Again, I would reiterate a couple of superb saves apart. Arsenal had chances to take something from that tonight. I don't think they would look at that on review and say they've done terribly badly. They've just run into a team where you couldn't afford to make a mistake. And you go through that PSG team, watching it again tonight. Neves, I think he is an absolutely phenomenal player. It's still a position on the pitch which somehow we tend to overlook a little bit. Perhaps sort of Rodri's Ballon d'Or corrects that narrative a little bit, but he is an incredible player. Nothing got past him tonight. I thought he was brilliant. Him, Vitinha, Ruiz. That has to be. I'd love it. Henry can probably answer this better than me, but is there a better midfield shelf in European football at this point? I love watching them. As when you think what they're rotating it up to, and you're knocking it forward to Dembele. You've got Dua. That is a fantastic team. I'm going to disappear on one small tangent here, just because it's been such a talking point of, is the Premier League, does it have the strength and depth? Is it a strong division? Have Liverpool had a walkover? Aston Villa, 7th in the Premier League. They beat this team in a leg recently. I think, it's just a point I would want to make. PSG are a truly exceptional side, and it's an old point, but one we should never get bored of making. They lost Mbappe and Messi and got better. At this stage, I'd make them favourites to win the tournament.
Well, let's bring Henry in then on a couple of those points. First, the midfield, and then also the forward line. I mean, the sun goes with bellyache. He's had an unbelievable season. I wonder where Ousmane Dembele sits for you in terms of Europe's best forwards.
Oh, he's absolutely up there, probably in the top 3 at the moment. But he was playing almost as a false 9, but a very real threat. And Arsenal struggled to sort of deal with his movement, particularly without a holding midfielder of Thomas Partey's quality. I agree. I thought Declan Rice, he was the one who was trying to sort of drive Arsenal back into the game. Odegaard, I was really disappointed with. He's the captain. He really should have been driving them on. It was really down to Declan Rice. But Dembele, I mean, the pace he's got, if he's flying down the right, or he's flying down the inside right channel, or he's moving into the middle, he's obviously got all the, so much pace outside him as well to pin the fullbacks, the Arsenal fullbacks back. But, absolutely outstanding player. I mean, Kiwior has actually been pretty decent, and, he was excellent against, was it Mbappe in the last couple of games against Real Madrid, stepping in for Gabriel. But it was difficult for him because Dembele was coming at him from a slightly deeper position.
So, looking ahead to the second leg now, I mean, look, Arsenal have created chances in the first leg. They'll know that if they get an opportunity, they might well be able to take it. But, Riath, what's the game plan in Paris for Arsenal?
They have to be more clinical. It's as simple as that. I think, again, going to our last 2 answers, Odegaard needs to turn up. I think so much about this team. I would, we could start with the centre half partnership. I think it's probably the best in the Premier League. But that spine of the team goes through Rice, it goes through Odegaard, and Saka is absolutely pivotal. Those are the guys who are going to need to turn up. But if when they're needing a goal, you're gonna need better finishing from Trossard. You're gonna need better finishing from Martinelli. I don't see how it's going to be any easier. It's clearly going to be harder in Paris. Those fans there, I thought Henry was borderline kind to the atmosphere that they can create in Paris. They can be sort of outright nasty at times. So I think it's going to be fiery. The flares are going to be going off. They're going to have to really turn up, and they're behind the 8 ball right now.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal will say they've coped with Madrid pretty well. They can go away to big sides and do the job. Henry, does Partey come back in for you in the second leg, and does Marino kind of restore himself up front as the makeshift striker?
Yeah, definitely. That's makes complete sense. And they also, really had a chance ruled out for offside from a set piece, a very good ball in from Declan Rice. But I think if Arsenal didn't get anything, if they are going to get back in and get to the final, they're going to have to do it through set pieces, because the PSG are not a particularly tall team, apart from their goalkeeper, Donnarumma. So if you can actually work the set pieces to just sort of hit that sort of danger zone, which Donnarumma probably doesn't want to stray into, and yet Arsenal can attack, and with Nicolas Jauvert, their set piece coach, probably love to put one over on PSG. I think they may have a chance, but when the ball is on the deck, when PSG are flying forward, particularly at home, as Riyad rightly says, particularly with those fans. I've walked with them a couple of times before matches, and you're completely right. It is you're looking for an out very quickly with some of them, because they are quite nasty. So the atmosphere there will be against Arsenal. But as you say, they went to the Bernabeu and they weren't intimidated with it there, but then they had the scores on their side.
They did indeed. What do we think then? Do you think, Riyad, that we've seen the Champions League winners at the Emirates tonight, be it either side, I suppose?
Like I said, I'd make PSG the favourites. I think the stars have aligned for them, but I do believe Arsenal have got a little bit more of a say to go in this match, and again, Real Madrid can probably testify to that.
Yeah, it's all set up for the second leg. Arsenal work to do, which is covered by many of the back pages as well. Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of their Champions League semi-final. It was an awful start for Arsenal. PSG went ahead in the 4th minute. Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia pulled the ball back to Ousmane Dembele, who struck with his left foot. It was Dembele's 45th goal involvement in 45 games this season. Arsenal kept pushing for an equaliser, but couldn't find it in the end. And Clinton Morrison watched the game with us in the Sky Sports News studio. What went wrong for Arsenal tonight?
They were against a good PSG team. I don't think Arsenal did much wrong. I just think it was a very close game, but PSG created probably the better chances. Arsenal did create a few chances, but Donnarumma was in fantastic form. I just think the difference between the two teams was the pace on the counter-attack. PSG, their front three, caused Arsenal a lot of problems. Even Barcola, when he came on, had a golden opportunity. And you look at it with Martinelli, had a great opportunity, but didn't really stretch him behind. So he didn't really trouble Hakimi. And Mendes done a good job on Saka, who I love. I think Saka's a fantastic player, but defensively they got it right. And then when Arsenal did open them up, they had an outstanding goalie in Donnarumma.
All the talk beforehand from Arteta was make it happen. He called on the fans to really get behind them. Do you sense that Arsenal felt this first leg was the key to the whole tie?
Yeah, I think it was, because your home form is important. I mean, the home tie, is very important. You feel like when you're at home, you feel like it's like the 12th man with the fans getting behind you. So it was a bit disappointing. At times they were quiet, the Arsenal fans, but they did make a lot of noise and tried to get behind them, because everyone was trying to egg them on. The Raya was, Arteta was doing it on the side, the players were, but sometimes it's down to the players, and then the fans will react off the players. So yeah, it's a disappointing night, but they're still in this tie. At 1-0, going to PSG is a difficult place to go, but they can create chances. They went to Real Madrid and won, so why can't they go to PSG and win?
Yeah, and PSG were beaten by Liverpool at home. I mean, it was an incredible game, that one. Could you foresee that kind of performance that Liverpool gave, snatching one on the break, that Arsenal can deliver in the second leg?
They can, but they'll have to keep it tight at the back. And the problem is this is a different PSG from when Liverpool played. I think they're full of confidence. I think they know their game plan. I think Luis Enrique's done a fantastic job. The improvement that I've seen in PSG over the last 3 or 4 years has been fantastic. They're not individual players in their team. The team work for each other. I think Dembele is a superstar. He's had 45 goal involvements. He's got 30 goals this season. I think 9 in the Champions League. His career just flipped on its head, and I think he's been fantastic. But Arsenal got to believe. And I think Arsenal missed Thomas Partey, because I don't think Dembele gets that goal if Thomas Partey is sitting in front of the back four. I just think he just pulls off, and then it enables Declan Rice to play higher up. So it's a silly booking from Thomas Partey, but they'll have him back for the second leg.
And you talk about a bit about squad depth there, particularly in forward areas when you see the senior options they had to bring off the bench there, Nwaneri, Sterling as the only senior options. Did Arsenal's lack of attacking options really come home tonight?
Yeah, that was always going to be the problem, Dave. They didn't have, PSG had a full squad to pick from. Arsenal didn't. They've got a lot of injuries, and they had obviously suspension with Partey, but the injuries have took its toll on them, and I always still think they're missing a natural number 9, which maybe in January they look at now and thought maybe we could have got it, but they didn't foresee these injuries that they've picked up, so they have been unlucky. But credit to Arteta, he's never moaned about it, he's just got on with it, and they just got to believe, because next Wednesday is going to be a hell of an atmosphere, and they just play on the counter-attack. They've got the players to cause problems for sure, and let me tell you something, PSG won't sit back and hold on to the 1-0. They'll still get forward, so Arsenal can counter-attack them, but they'll have to keep it tight at the back.
Well, it's all set up for next week. Clinton, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you very much.
Called on Arsenal to continue their beautiful story and make history as they take on Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of their Champions League semi-final at the Emirates.
Arsenal have had some special European nights and are into the last 4 of the competition for the first time since 2009. And he's made a rallying call to the home crowd, even encouraged them to bring their boots.
Tomorrow more, I told them, and I'm not exaggerating when I said, guys, bring your boots, bring your shorts, bring your t-shirts, and let's play every ball together. You know, you want to do something special, that place has to be something special, something that we haven't seen, and I really hope that everybody that comes tomorrow to the Emirates and everybody's watching and following us, it brings that energy with them. Probably one of the biggest games that the Emirates have seen since we built it, just to visualize it, to be convinced, to go on that pitch thinking, we're going to beat them, we're going to be better than them tomorrow, and we're going to do everything that we understand is the right things to earn the right to win the game, and go there with that conviction and feel the conviction around it. I think it's key. If we are able to generate that energy, we're going to be much closer to winning the game.
Arsenal have never won the Champions League, losing the final in 2006 against Barcelona. In fact, no team has played more games in the history of the competition without lifting the trophy. And Arteta, well, he's determined to end the wait.
Especially with the circumstances that we had this season and how we have overcome a lot of issues and challenges, and the fact that the team is here as one of the 4 best teams in Europe. It tells about the mindset, the spirit, and how much we really want it. We are making history. It's a beautiful story right now, but we want much more. You feel it, especially because we have, fortunately, a lot of people that have worked at the club for many, many, many years, and they've never been in this position, you know, so that tells you how unique and beautiful it is. And yeah, it's the nicest competition for any European club. We've never done it, so we need to earn the right to be in that final.
We have this dream. The football club has never won this title, and the club deserves to have it. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and we're really happy to be involved in this moment, and we have the opportunity. So we're really happy and excited to the game, and of course we believe we can win it. It's an amazing thing that we can bring to the club.
Well, Arteta seems to have found a new way of preparing his squad for tonight's match, hand in hand and music playing.
Just glad you can't see us right now. Anyway, Arteta will be hoping that works. He's looking for a repeat of their 2-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain from the group phase back in October. I wonder who picked the music.
I know, I just love the idea of the holding hands. That's quite clever, that, isn't it? I'm going to nick that for my, rubbish team. Anyway, Arsene Wenger was in charge the last time Arsenal reached the Champions League semi-final, wasn't he?
That's right. It was back in 2009, and he thinks the current side's strong defence could be the key factor in reaching the final.
I believe that Arsenal has the potential to do it. But of course, once you go to the semi-final, Paris Saint-Germain is a very good team as well. So everybody is excited about it, and let's see and hope. I think once you get to this stage, no matter who you face, it's going to be a challenge, isn't it? Of course, the teams who go through to the semi-final, they have some qualities, you know, and then it's down to the form of the day, to the main players who can show their efficiency on the day, as well a little bit as well that you have no sending off or stupid reaction at some stage. So overall, I believe Arsenal is very solid defensively, and over 2 legs that will play has a big importance.
Well, like Arsenal, PSG have never lifted the Champions League, and if they do it this season, they'll have beaten all 4 Premier League clubs on the way.
They beat Manchester City in the league phase and have knocked out both Liverpool and Aston Villa to reach the last 4, although they lost to Arsenal in the league phase.
That's right, and head coach Luis Enrique appeared to dismiss the suggestion that the Premier League is the best in the world.
Maybe it's a question for Mr. Arteta, but I think in terms of confidence, it's very positive for us, because we could won the match against Liverpool, and Liverpool won the Premier League this year, but doesn't mean anything, because every single match is different. I have to say that everybody speaks about the Premier League like the best league in the world. I don't know if I have to agree or not, but if I agree or not, but we are full of confidence. I'm looking forward to playing in the semi-final.
Do you think it is?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I can say whatever, everybody's going to criticize me.
Well, Arsenal won 2-0 when the sides met in the group stage back in October, but former Arsenal midfielder Freddie Ljungberg thinks the French champions have improved since then.
I was on site when I played him in the group stages. I was at Emirates, and then Arsenal picked them apart a little bit with their defensive play, and PSG did some, you must say, naive play and errors for Arsenal, and won the ball and could then win it. I said then PSG in a year's time would be unbelievable, because you could see the patterns, they just didn't really work for them. But I didn't think it would go this quickly. At the moment, they're very, very good. They play great football, obviously, against Liverpool, especially at home. So I think for Arsenal, if they can get a few goals and not concede at home, because I think PSG is very good at home, like I said. And Arsenal's way of playing football, it's quite defensively strong. Strong on set pieces, which is quite vital when you do a head-to-head game. So I think they have a very, very good chance.
Which are the players that you're looking at within that Arsenal team that could hurt PSG?
There's so many players that can hurt them, but obviously you have the set pieces where I think they can hurt them and will hurt them. Then you have a Declan Rice that, of course, I think he got confidence from scoring his free kicks, but at the same time, when he wins the ball in transition, he can drive forwards and get like a Bukayo Saka or something like into the game. Obviously, he's lethal. He then can win any game.
Of course, it is step by step, but I've got to ask you, do you think Arsenal can go all the way in the Champions League?
I think so, yeah, 100%. I think they have a great side. I think everybody a little bit disappointed by the league, but this is their chance, and I think they can do it.
Well, how about this? Heading into tonight's game, Arsenal are actually currently the favourites to win the Champions League. That is according to the Opta supercomputer predictor. It gives them a 31.3% chance of lifting the trophy, with Barcelona next best on 27.4%.
Really, I mean, we've been able to virtually shake hands with most of the Liverpool players as they've walked past. Arne Slot looks like the coolest guy inside Anfield at the moment.
Incredible, isn't it? I mean, he's just embraced it. He was so calm on the touchline watching the game, but the way he's taken this team forward this season has been quite brilliant. But he's just enjoying the moment. I've been coming to Anfield since I was 10 years of age, maybe younger actually, and stood on the Kop originally. This was as good as I've ever heard Anfield. And this now, wow. I mean, it's mind-blowing. I was a little bit teary-eyed a minute ago. I was looking up and watching my nephew just enjoying the moment and thinking, just enjoy it, because you don't know when this might happen again. Incredible scenes.
And it's one of those things, as a football player, you know, you achieve whatever you achieve during the season, whether that's overachieve or underachieve. Then you have a break, you go on international duty potentially, you come back and it's a reset, you've got to go again. So to your point, you have to really enjoy these moments. You try and absorb everything as much as you can, because once this moment's gone, they have to start preparing for the next game. And I think credit to Arne Slot and the whole backroom staff, the way they've got everybody focused on the job in hand today. Yeah. Tottenham were awful, absolutely awful, but Liverpool had a job to do and they did it absolutely brilliantly.
McAllister's won a World Cup, and after the game finished and the whistle blew, he just sat on the bench and just wept, just cried. I mean, you've got a guy there, he's won the biggest trophy in world football, but at the end of this season, it's so emotional, the roller coaster that you've been on throughout the season. I mean, you said it in commentary, what a performance from him today, magnificent.
And in terms of these wider celebrations, extraordinary scenes, but how much of this is down to the pent-up frustration of not being able to do this 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's his biggest message from the fans, where they've been desperate to win it.
As a Premier League champion, in the middle of the pitch, as a Premier League champion, how does it feel? It feels great, but I don't think I want to say a lot. The only thing I can do now is send my appreciation to Jürgen. So there we go. Jürgen Klopp! Speaking about how important it was for everybody to be in red. It was an absolute spectacle, and it was just a cauldron of noise right throughout the entire game today. Yeah, it was. But I think even before the game, it was already clear that we were going to lose this game. The way we arrived here with the bus, I think everybody who was sitting in the bus felt there's no way we're going to lose this game. And of course, the boss thought, let's make it difficult for us again to go 1-0 down. But they always find a way to win, so send them the appreciation. How was it possible, this wonderful football team, almost untouchable this year, you did it with games to spare. How proud are you of the players this season? Incredible, incredibly proud. But not only on the players, I think everybody knows what effort they've put in this season and for the last few years. But the people who are standing here, FSG, sports directors, everyone, my staff members, we should give them a big round of applause as well. Just one more, if I may. There's so many inside this ground that will have never seen this before. The fact that COVID robbed us of the opportunity to celebrate it all together. I know the other night it could have happened without playing a game, but how important was it and how emotional was it that everybody was together to celebrate this monumental moment? This is all what you want as a player, I think as a supporter, as a fan, and as a staff member as well. So let's forget that it's the second in 35 years, it's the second in 5 years.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lowe, and as we head towards the end of an exciting Premier League season, make sure you like and subscribe on the
King Mo Salah, who marked the occasion with his 200th goal with his left foot for Liverpool today, another landmark. But I wonder, on a broader sense, in your 8 years at Liverpool, how does this compare with anything else you've experienced?
I think in the best moment in my career, probably for Liverpool. I know I won a Champions League before, but wasn't that special. Winning the Premier League in Anfield and be able to do that impact like that, it's incredible.
It was an extraordinary atmosphere even before kick-off. How much much in your head were you thinking, we have to stay calm amidst this madness?
I think when you play in Anfield, a few games like that, when you play semi-final or quarter-final Champions League, it's always the atmosphere similar to that. But I knew before the game that the atmosphere will be great, so I had to stay calm. I had to also be a good example for the young players. So I've been passing that experience before, so I handled it well.
And how do you find it playing in that position where you seem to be slightly further forwards when the team don't have the ball? You're able to stay a little bit ahead of the game. Is that something that you've worked on with Arne Slot? Has he told you to do that?
Yes, we spoke about it a lot. Sometimes in the beginning of the season, he wanted me to defend that deep. Then I was honest with him. I told him, you can ask me to go inside our box, but my number will be completely different than now. But when I'm able to gamble a little bit here or there, I can make the difference, and you can see that during the season.
So you were able to negotiate that, were you?
I've been working with lawyer for many years. So. No, but he's a good person. He gives you the space to speak about everything you want, so it makes a difference for us.
What was your thoughts when Jurgen Klopp left the football club and you knew Arne Slot was coming in? What was your first impression when the manager came into the football club?
I think the first thing in my head, like, I want to win it again without Jurgen, without Sadio, without Bobby, without these guys. I appreciate them a lot, but I want to win it without them. I want to say that I'm able to do it for the team, for the club, because I believe I can do it, so I'm glad that I did it.
And obviously Arne's a very different type of coach to Jurgen. What you've just said there about those one-to-one relationships that he has with the players, would you say that's a key part of how he coaches, understanding each individual player?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's like, he asks you immediately what he wants you to do. Like, if you don't do it, he asks you again. I think in the preseason, I remember he gets a few clips of me in the warm-up. The warm-up, just like doing like this. What is that? Look at the young player behind you, and all of them follow. So, like, he's very honest. He speaks to you straight away. I think that's a huge difference.
No, what drives you? Is it legacy that you're going to leave at Liverpool Football Club?
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to be able that. If I leave the football in any time, I just want to say I give it all. I didn't hold here or there. I give it all. I'm happy about my career. I just go.
You've done okay.
So far, it's fine.
We've spoken to you plenty of times. You've always come and spoken to us here at NBC, and he's a numbers man. You remember, you know all your numbers. You're like all creative players. I think you set yourself targets, and that remotivates you. It seems that you're as dedicated and passionate about what's ahead as what you've achieved
Absolutely,
so far.
absolutely. I love the numbers. That's something drive me every day to go to the gym and do my homework. But I will never stop that until probably I retired. So it's something that motivates me so much. So I enjoy it.
Okay, just a quiet night in then, Mo, tonight?
Sorry?
Just a quiet night in tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm very quiet, you can see.
There you go, Rebecca. Mohamed Salah joining us live pitchside here at Anfield.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lowe, and as we head towards the end of an exciting Premier League season, make sure you like and subscribe.